Yo, what's good, everyone? Welcome back to Winning Picks Weekly AFC Conference Preview for the NFL. Greg, we are so back. I mean, we've been going through College Week 0, College Week 1. We did the Big 10 and Big 12 previews. We did the ACC and the SEC previews. You can check that all out on the YouTube or wherever you find your podcast. But now, Greg, we are into NFL season. This is the AFC preview today. Tomorrow we'll be dropping the NFC preview. And then it's week by week, full slate, best bets. Oh, I cannot wait. But we thought we'd get off a quick AFC preview episode, especially because these bets go away once kickoff happens this year. Thursday, Chiefs, Lions. So
Yes.
as soon as that starts, these bets are gone. So we kind of want to talk about them a little bit. The division bets will always be there, but I've taken some division parlays. So we'll get into all that. Greg, what's up? What are you most excited for in this AFC, man?
The Jets, Jets, Jets. I mean, there's a lot of good teams. I think there's a lot of good value out there. We'll talk about in this episode, but obviously I had the Jets bet 14 different ways. I talked about it, I think, on a previous episode, but in an O'Malley fight, I was just peppering O'Malley to win by knockout. Jets money line week 1. O'Malley to win in under 2 or 3.5 rounds. Jets money line week 1. O'Malley to win outright. Jets money line week 1. So I got a lot of money on the Jets week 1. I also put in a lot of Jets futures, but I'm very excited about this AFC. I'm very excited about this season of football. We're here. I'm ready for it, so let's get into it.
All right, yeah, let's just start in the AFC East. I mean, obviously, I have the Jets winning the division. I also have the Jets making the playoffs. However, I think it's time to buckle down a little bit and maybe have a little bit of a conversation about the New England Patriots being plus 250 to make the playoffs with 3 wild card spots. I mean, it's a little disrespectful, if I'm being honest with you. Bill Belichick is going to make the playoffs. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. It doesn't matter what's going on. Yes, he's not going to win the division. Yes, he's not going to get the first wild card spot, but he's going to sneak in there, man. I mean, we're about to talk about the AFC today, and there's some divisions who don't even deserve to exist. Like the AFC South, they don't deserve to exist, let alone get a wild card spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So right now from the AFC East, besides the homer bets, I love the Jets to win the division. I love the Jets to make the playoffs. I even love the individual Jets bets. But we don't need to talk about that. Everybody knows how I feel about that. New England Patriots make the playoffs plus 250. That's my best non-Jets AFC East bet of the year.
Love it. Absolutely love it because I agree with you. I mean, it's a tough division. I'm wondering, I was just looking up real quick and I couldn't find it in time. He kicked it over to me, but I was looking at the exact order. Jets, Patriots, Bills, Dolphins for finishing in the division, because if we're talking about the Patriots sneaking in, I don't know if the Patriots and the Bills are making it.
So right now, you're talking about the odds for the AFC East?
Yeah. There's some
Bills, Jets, Dolphins, Patriots.
Yeah, but there's some bets you could put like the exact order of how they finish, like Jets 1, Patriots 2. And I think those would be pretty good because I think the Patriots, I think the Bills are the favorites, and rightfully so. I mean, it's been their division for the last few years, but I don't think a lot of people have the Bills missing the playoffs and the Jets and the Patriots making the playoffs. So that could be some pretty good odds there for you.
Who do you have winning this division?
The Jets.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean,
it already went all the way down to 250.
It's crazy. I have the Jets 250. I have the Jets from earlier in the offseason. Also, I put in today Jets alternate over 12.5 wins at plus 480. I know it's crazy, but if this season goes the way I think they're going to do, I think in order to win this division, you're going to have to get up into that 12, 13, 14 wins because it's going to be a competitive division. I don't think 9 wins is going to get you the division. So, if we're going to make it happen this season, which I think that we can with our strong defense and then just a marginally improved offense with 4-time MVP Aaron Rodgers, I think 12.5 wins is doable at plus 500. I just like the odds.
Yeah, and if you throw in Jets, Patriots, and then I know this is AFC episode, so we'll put in the Chiefs, sprinkle in the Eagles. That's plus 817 just to make the playoffs. Just those 4 teams, $100 to win $800. You know what I mean? And you know what's bringing you there is the Patriots plus 250. Everyone is minus money, including the Jets. So
I like that.
That's a nice, interesting bet there to just have $800 coming into you. Unless some catastrophe happens. True. Let me ask you this before we move on from the AFC East. We didn't mention the Dolphins. They seem to have individual issues everywhere, especially on the defense, off the field. Jalen Ramsey, hopefully he'll come back. Xavier Howard, who knows what's going to happen. They just have a different problem every single day. Now they have Jonathan Taylor rumors that not going to go through because he's on the PUP list. Then we have Tua fighting with the media, rightfully so, with Ryan Clark.
Yep.
Where do you see the Dolphins falling in here?
I like the under for them. Under 7.5 is an alternate line. I just don't see it. I mean, the offense is good. Waddles gets injured. Hill gets injured. Tua gets injured. All the running backs get injured. Their offensive line isn't spectacular. And they already have an injury to that left tackle there. So, I think that they're an injury-prone team. I think when they're all healthy and all clicking, they're one of the best offenses in the league. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of people are talking about this defense. I was just looking at last year, ranked 24th to 29th in most statistical categories. Yards per game and yards per play, they were 14th and 18th. I guess those are good stats. I'm more concerned about the scoring defense being ranked 28th, other stats like that. So,
Minka and Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard is a pretty solid defense on paper. Just those 3, and they have other players.
Jalen Ramsey, those going to miss half the season at least, right? So, I just think to your point, the Patriots are going to be better than everyone expects. I expect the Jets to be good. I expect the Bills to be good. Someone's going to have to lose. Someone's got to finish in the bottom of this division. I like the Miami Dolphins alternate under 7.5 at plus 250. I like all the alternate lines. I didn't go straight up because I just like it in the plus odds. But John, I also just looked up Jets to finish first, Patriots to finish second, Bills to finish third, Dolphins to finish fourth in the AFC East plus 3,200.
I like
so I'll throw $10 on that all day long.
I actually like that, man.
Yeah,
keeping that in mind. All right, let's jump to the AFC North. In my opinion, I mean, definitely arguably the hardest division. I would say it's number 2 after the East. And it's because any team could win this except for, in my opinion, the Browns, which is to me the Dolphins of the East. But otherwise, you have 3 juggernauts here, and where you can compare the Steelers to the Patriots, where you're never going to be able to count them out because of their defense and because of their coaching. It's the same idea where still question marks about the quarterback. It seems to be more positive for the Steelers than it is for the Patriots at the moment, but it's really the same idea. We have the Bengals and the Bills. They're kind of rolling the same. And then we have the new age Ravens with the new age Jets. I mean, the divisions are so they mirror each other so much. And I can't help but to like the bottom of the division and the Steelers and to be scared of the Ravens, which makes me like, oh, okay, maybe I am being biased towards the Jets a little bit. Right? Because I'm like, oh, new age Ravens. New coordinators, new offense, new everything.
Yeah.
Then they're not when you read about it, they're saying that the Ravens offense is not going to be recognizable. And I agree. They changed all their coordinators. Lamar Jackson is now on a full contract. It's all different. Odell is here. Zay Flowers is a beast. They got 2 incredible tight ends in Likely and Andrews. Andrews was frustrated early in the preseason or training camp for not getting reps. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I'm very interested to see how that goes, but they really do remind me of the Jets. I just don't have much faith in them. I love the Steelers to win the division at plus 470, but even less than that, dude, I love them to make the playoffs, man. I mean, Tomlin, even last year, we're all joking around. Haha, this is the year that they're not going to get 500 because everyone's talking about it. Still got it. He's a beast, man. For me, it's impossible to bet against the Steelers. They are plus 128 to make the playoffs. That you just take the Steelers, man. Take the Steelers in your division bets. Take the Steelers in your make the playoff bets. Hey, throw them in your parlays. I love them. I'm staying away from the Browns. I'm staying away from Elijah Moore and Deshaun Watson. That just sounds like a terrible day at the office. Is Amari Cooper there still? I mean, it just sounds. I don't know what's gonna happen there. The Bengals, I'm still weary of. We'll see if Burrow could stay healthy. You know, I love my boy out of Princeton, Yusova. So I'm excited there. But I don't know how. We'll see. The offensive line's already starting a little injured. But every time we say that about the offensive line, Joe Burrow kills us.
Yeah.
Every time we say that Cincinnati Bengals offensive line is bad, Joe Burrow doesn't lose a game. So we'll see what happens there. But for me, I love the Steelers here. I'll give the second spot to the Ravens for me, and then Bengals third. And I'm falling off here with the Browns. Get me off the Browns.
Yeah, I like the Steelers too. I have them in a couple division parlays, but I'm not all in on the Steelers. What I'm all in on are the Steelers to win the division, just because to your point, I think it's actually the hardest division in football. And I know we said that last year about the AFC West, and it turned out to be a joke. But you know, if Deshaun Watson can return to 80% of what Deshaun Watson was before all, you know, the bad stuff came out.
Well, he was injured.
This Cleveland team could be good. This Cleveland team could be really good. So, you know, Amari Cooper's good. I like Njoku. Chubb's, I think, going to lead the league in rushing. He's going to be fantastic. So the defense is stout. Myles Garrett is the odds-on favorite to record the most sacks in the NFL this year on FanDuel. So,
really,
you know, I think, yeah.
Dude, on that note, where's TJ Watt there? Because I love TJ Watt to be defensive player of the year.
Don't worry, John. It's one of my picks coming up. I'll tell you in a little bit. Don't you worry about
great.
that. So yeah, my favorite bet here for the Steelers over 10.5 wins, alternate line plus 200. I think that's an easy double up. To your point, if you're going to be contending for this division again, like I said for the AFC East, I think you're going to have to get to that double-digit win range. I think winning the division might be a little bit tougher. That's why it's plus 470. But 10.5 wins, if this defense can hold up and return to form, and this offense can improve, which I think they can. You know, I mean, Deontay Johnson, no touchdowns last year. That's going to return to form. Pickens is going to take another step. He was awesome in college. He's going to be great in the NFL. Kenny has been looking pretty good this preseason so far. You know, Pat's always open according to Jersey Jerry. So I think this offense can be pretty good. Give me the over 10.5 wins at plus 200. And then I like the Ravens moving forward. I don't know if we want to get the conference champions yet, but I have them at plus 900.
What are your thoughts on Odell here? You know, and the running back situation? You think they're going to turn back to like a traditional run back situation? You think Odell's going to get the ball? Do you think Zay Flowers is going to get the ball? Do you think Lamar's going to be running?
I think Zay Flowers is going to be very, very, very good. I have him in a lot of best ball leagues. Was hoping to get him in our dynasty draft earlier today. Was not able to get him. I think he's me. Yeah, I think he's going to be very good. I don't think Odell's going to be a huge factor. I mean, I think he's going to be a factor for some of it, but again, just so injury prone, so late in his career. It's been 6 seasons since he's had a good year. I don't expect much out of him. But dude, we talked about Likely for a while. We love him out of Coastal Carolina. The 1-2 punch of him and Andrews was pretty good last season, and then when Andrews missed some time, Likely shined. So I think they're going to be okay, the passing attack, and obviously the rushing attack's going to be okay. JK, I think, should be fine. And then I don't know what this offense is going to look like, but I think it's going to be better. And it was phenomenal when Lamar was running the ball and throwing the ball. So I think they're going to be okay. The defense is stout. The defense is strong. So plus 900 to win the conference. It's a pretty good bet.
All right. So from the best division in football, as you claim,
yeah,
arguably in my opinion, I don't even know if it's the best division in the AFC because of the AFC East in there.
Yeah.
But let's kind of change to there's 2 more divisions left. One, in my opinion, the worst division in football, definitely in the AFC. And the other division doesn't seem like a competition to me. So we'll start with the worst division there is, and that's the AFC South. You got the Jaguars, the Titans, the Colts, and the Texans. In that order, that is their odds to win as well. I can't imagine why the Colts are ahead of anyone, let alone half the odds to the Houston Texans. They also have a rookie quarterback who was worse in college than the Houston Texans quarterback.
Significantly worse.
Yeah, the offensive line for Houston is significantly better than the Colts offensive line, including Quentin Nelson. The chemistry going on in Houston is significantly better than what's going on in Indy, from the running back situation to players that are injured to coaching issues. So that I'm just gonna throw that out the window. Tennessee, I don't know what's going on there. It seems like everyone's writing them off, including myself. And they just sneaky keep adding New England Patriots players. Like, they just traded a 6th-round pick next year for Nick Folk. Like, I don't know what's going on over there. They just keep adding players. Don't forget they got DeAndre Hopkins. It's just hanging out there. Like, that's the most under the radar acquisition of the entire offseason. So I feel like sneaky they are gonna win, and it's gonna be, why didn't you just bet on the defense? Why didn't you just bet on Vrabel? They run the ball, Tannehill. You know what I mean? They're sound everywhere. Why didn't you just bet on that? But I am betting on the Texans to win this division, not in like, yo, this is gonna happen, but kind of like my hot take, my best, my biggest long shot bet is gonna be Houston Texans. DeMeco Ryans really becoming coach of the year, honestly. Bringing and honestly, the Texans winning the division, doing absolutely nothing in the playoffs, losing game 1, but still making it to the playoffs. Because I don't trust the Jaguars too, and I think that's where you're gonna go with this. So I'll kind of give you the volley there. I don't really trust the Jaguars. I know everyone's telling me Trevor Lawrence is better than Aaron Rodgers. I know everyone's telling me, Doug Peterson's got this thing rolling. Calvin Ridley's going to be the best wide receiver ever. He might even win comeback player of the year. I've heard it all. Travis Etienne, this is his year. I get it. For me, if I want to be sound, if I want to make a sound bet, I'm taking the Titans at plus 310 to win the South, and or taking them to win the playoffs. But my long shot bet here of the entire AFC is the Texans to win the division.
I like it. I like it just because of the odds. I mean, plus 1,000 is just crazy. To your point, I don't think the Colts are much better than the Texans, sitting at plus 550. It's crazy. Going into the season, I have like 1 or 2 bets with Tennessee at plus 300, because I agree with you. I just think it's crazy that they're plus 300. Like, I don't think they're that far a distance behind the Jaguars. But I have picked up the Jaguars here and there. I don't have an outright bet. I have Jaguars in a parlay for the AFC divisions. And I have Trevor Lawrence a couple other places. But this division is just too weird for me. Like I said, I have Tennessee in a couple bets, but nothing too crazy. I haven't bet the over and unders because, again, like the Jaguars over unders 10. It's like, I'm really gonna put money down on the Jaguars winning 11 or 12 football games. Like, I get that it's different. They looked incredible in the playoffs last year on that comeback. I think a thing that kind of sneaks by people, because everyone does talk about Trevor Lawrence so much. 12th defense ranked in points per game last year, 12th in rushing yards per game last year. I think this defense is pretty strong. They've had a couple good draft picks over the last few years that have solidified kind of the line and the linebacker core there. So, and Doug Peterson, I think he's turned it around pretty good in year 1, made the playoffs, the incredible comeback win against the Chargers, gets it going a little bit, kind of middle of the road schedule, nothing too crazy for them. So, I have Trevor Lawrence to lead the league in passing, plus 1,600. I think he's going to be very good. I think they're going to throw a ton. I think they have a great receiving core and Evan Ingram. So, just don't have an outright pick here. I have Jaguars into a parlay, though.
All right. Let's jump to the easiest division in football, in my opinion. This is I call the AFC Championship the Patrick Mahomes Invitational. I'm cutting that back this year because the Jets actually have a pulse. So yep. I'm gonna cut out that rhetoric. I'm not gonna book a hotel in Kansas City for AFC Championship weekend yet. Yet, just in case I have to. But what do you think about this division? For me, it's too easy. It's the Chiefs or nothing. It's the Chiefs to make the playoffs or nothing. But other than that, I think the Broncos are going to be one of the worst teams in the league. I think the Raiders are going to be one of the worst teams in the league. It's a joke of a division. And I'll trust Herbert, sure. But I think their coach is going to get fired after this year. I think the Chargers are going to have such a bad year that he's going to get fired. So, I mean, that's how I think this division is going to go personally.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up real quick where
Eckler's going to go.
You think Eckler's going to be gone at the end of the season?
Yes. They wouldn't give him any money. They gave him a little bit of a $2 million bonus or so this year. That's it. That's all he's getting. He's going to be a free agent next year. And, just to talk about this AFC real quick, if you want to get bold, again, this is a bold bet. This is the long shot bet because I'm adding Houston to make the playoffs in here. So it's Houston because they're going to win their division. They're not going to win the wild card, right? And then we got New England and the Jets, right? The Jets to win the division or so, and then New England to make the wild card. That's my guesstimate. We have the Steelers winning the division and the Ravens making the wild card, kind of what we were talking about. And then the Chiefs to make the playoffs, probably win the division. But that leaves the wild card spot to the Jaguars, Bills, and Bengals, like one of those three, right? So we won't even touch that because it's a bold bet because you have the Texans in there. It's plus 16,000. So it's crazy, I know, but you put $1, you win $163. So like if you do your regular units, you can win decent money, right? So you put $10, you win $1,600. So those are just the long shot bets that I enjoy taking because if you take the Texans out and you throw in, the Bengals, which is, probably more obvious, the odds go down to, what is it here? Plus 3,400, which is still not bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's still not bad.
That's pretty
good.
But
it cuts it, down where you have to bet $50 to win the 1,700, which is still fine in my opinion. If you don't trust the Texans, right? You're listening to me like what an idiot who's betting the Texans. Fine, take them out, put in the Bengals, right? And then you have one team buffer, so you're not guessing every single team in the AFC. And that's $50 to win 1,700. Chiefs, Ravens, Steelers, Patriots, Jets, Bengals to make the playoffs. Like, what's wrong with that? You know what I mean? If you add the Bills, if you want to guess all the teams, put the Bills in. You want to say the AFC East is going to get 3. Your odds are going to jump up a little bit higher too. So, there's some good bets in the AFC.
I agree with you. My biggest thing is I need you to walk me back on how low can I go on the under for Denver. I mean, this is my spite bet of the year in the NFL. I absolutely hate the Denver Broncos for a multitude of reasons. For those that follow the show know I hate Russell Wilson. I have for years. I think he's been overrated. People are saying, oh, he's a top 10 quarterback. Oh, he's a top 10 quarterback. What world is he a top 10 quarterback? Said that 2 years ago. He's sucked ever since. Now they're calling out my coach, my coordinator, they're calling out my team. So, I mean, I have the under 7.5 at plus 3. Under 6.5 at plus 230.
Get bolder than that. Get bolder than that, Greg.
5.5 is plus 420. I mean, Colorado 420. Connected dots. I'm doing my Jersey Jerry bit. Maybe I don't know.
Also, Colorado football is 3.5, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, that's even lower. This is 4.5.
Take the under.
But the only thing is, John, so to get realistic, looking at the schedule,
I'm looking at it right now.
They play Las Vegas at home. They play Washington at home. They play at Chicago. I think those are all winnable games. They play home against Minnesota. They play home against Cleveland. They play at Houston. And then again at Las Vegas. Like, I think there's 7 or 8 winnable games here. Sean Payton, who knows? But, 4.5, 5.5. Let's go 4.5. 4.5.
Under 4.5 plus 650. I like that.
Oh, no, wait. Is it 4.5 or 5.5? I want the 421. 5.5. Sorry. Because that just, 420.
5.5 plus 420.
Denver. 5.5. 420. That just seems like the stars are aligned on that. So Denver under 5.5. That's my spike pick of the year for the AFC. I absolutely hate them. To finish up this division, I mean, Kansas City, I was looking at them to win the conference, to win the AFC championships, plus 320. To be the number 1 seed is plus 350. That intrigued me a little bit more than actually winning the AFC conference. The problem is that if you get the number 1 seed, you have to win like 1 game to get to, or 2 games to win the AFC championship. But,
but one of those might be the Jets versus the Jets.
Yeah. So just to win the 1 seed, that's one of my big tips in the in the NFC preview that we have coming out. So check that out when that drops. But I just have Kansas City in the parlay, my divisional parlay. And now that we've talked about all the divisions, I'll give it out. Kansas City, Jacksonville Jaguars, the Jets, plus 800. Kansas City and the Jaguars are heavy favorites. Feel more confident about Kansas City than I do the Jaguars, but I do believe in Trevor Lawrence. I think he's going to have a good season. The Jets, that's kind of your most risky pick, just because the division's so good. So I think for the Jaguars, you only have one real contender, and that's the Titans, unless you're Houston Texans surprise. Plus 800 to me just seemed like a nice little bet, nice little 3-team divisional bet. And then as far as kind of props go, I don't know if do you have a divisional parlay or any other stuff that you want to give out before we get into prop bets for the AFC?
Well, I've been throwing out division parlays everywhere, right? I've been throwing out Jets, Steelers, Chiefs, and then whatever you want to do in the South.
Playoffs, all that stuff.
Yeah, if you want to, throw in the Titans, that would be my division parlay. But you got me excited with that spite pick. I'm gonna make a quick spite pick here too.
Good.
It's not too much, but because you could only parlay 3 teams in the not to make the playoffs parlay. So I'll give a little 3-team AFC to not make playoffs at plus 757. Again, not bad. Detroit Lions not to make the playoffs.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Denver Broncos not to make the playoffs. And you're not going to like the third one with the Jacksonville Jaguars not to make the playoffs. And that's plus 158. Or, because the Dolphins are minus 115. I don't want to go there. But that's a possibility. If you don't like the Jaguars in there, throw in the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Or you could throw in the Chargers. Makes it down to plus 500 if you throw in the Dolphins or Chargers. So Dolphins or Chargers plus Broncos Lions to not make the playoffs, that's plus 500. All 3 of those bets are not too bad, man. And you're just rooting against the Lions and the Broncos all year. It's not too bad. And everyone loves Dan Campbell every single offseason. And then by week 7, everyone wants to fire Dan Campbell. It's going to happen again, even though my boy Sam Laporta is there. And speaking of dynasty drafts, still mad at you for grabbing Sam Laporta.
It could be a good trade piece down the line. I'm set at tight end now. I got Kincaid and him. I'm set at tight end for the next 10 years. But yeah, you're kind of hurting me about all this Lions talk. Like we're doing the AFC preview. I wasn't expecting to hear so much. My to make the playoffs prop, I'm giving out because it's AFC and NFC teams are the Jets, the Seahawks, the Saints, the Steelers, and the Lions. I think the Lions are, they are the clear favorite betting wise. But I think it's their division to lose. It's crazy to say that about the Detroit Lions, but that's plus 1665. I think that's a good, solid number to throw $10 at when you're $166. And again, it's only 5 teams. You're both AFC and NFC, so you're mixing and matching. From the AFC, you see the Jets and Steelers. We've talked about that at length now. We like both those teams. And then Seattle Saints and Lions. You have to tune into the NFC preview to see why we like those. Obviously, we're going to butt heads on the Lions one, but I don't know. Plus 1,600. I think the Lions are going to be good.
Yeah, I don't. I really don't think they're going to be good. I think this is all hype, and I can't wait to get into. I'm out of brain fart putting the Lions in there. Didn't mean that. So yeah, just throw the Dolphins or the Chargers in there for the plus 500. But perfect. We're gonna get into the NFC, and if you a quick preview, man, that division it's fighting with the AFC South to be the worst division. I mean, it's a close one too. I do not like the Lions or the Jaguars, man. Both of those I can almost guarantee you that both of those teams are not going to win the division. Right, both favorites right now. I wish I can do just a not to win the division parlay about all the favorites. I wish I could do that. Because literally every single favorite I do not like, except for the Chiefs in the AFC. So right, before it stands, and now we just got into that division, including them. So I don't know. I'm just fading this year. I'm just laying back and fading. It's gonna be hard to bet the Jets this year, which is very interesting, man. What a different mentality to go into. It used to be so easy to bet the Jets because they're gonna be underdogs. So I'll just convince myself to take the points. We'll see what happens. Now it's gonna be like, do I really think the Jets are minus XYZ? Yeah. So I'm interested to get into that. If you like the AFC episode, let us know what you got. Let us know what you think. I know I'm crazy for being hyped about the Texans, but they put a lot of money into and a lot of assets into that offensive line. The defense is going to be stellar. Watch out for the Texans. CJ Stroud, I know he's from Ohio State. I know.
Yeah.
But hopefully they got a lot of weapons. Tank Dell, Hutchinson, a couple of nice rookie wide receivers that I like out there. We'll see.
Yeah, John, can I go rapid fire quick to finish this out?
Please, sir.
Conference championships, Jets, Ravens, Jets plus 1,000, Ravens plus 900. We talked about it. I feel very similar about both those teams. I think those are pretty good odds. Get into the playoffs and make a little bit of a run, kind of underdog story. I think that could work for both those guys. Do not Super Bowl, same thing. Jets, Ravens plus 1,800 apiece. Like same exact thought. So go with that. It worked for me last year at the Eagles. Hopefully it works again with the Jets or the Ravens. Trevor Lawrence, most passing yards, plus 1,600. I think MVP is right around there. MVP might be a little bit tough to win. Maybe if the Jaguars are like this renaissance team and he leads the league in passing, that he could win MVP. But you're voting on stuff with MVP. Most passing yards, same odds. I think there's a chance he could do it this year. TJ Watt, you asked about it. Third on the list for most sacks, plus 850. I like that.
I think he's going to be Defensive Player of the Year.
Definitely a chance for that. I agree. If the Steelers are going to be good, which we both like the Steelers, it's going to be on TJ Watt's back. He's going to have to be a game wrecker like he can be. He's been injured a few times here and there. Needs to be healthy
when he's not on the field.
Yeah, and dude, they have what's been good about him, not good about him being injured, but like what they've done with him being injured is they've developed some very good other talent. There's a couple pass rushers there. I'm blanking on their names right now that are pretty good. So if they're pretty good and he's excellent like he can be, this defense can be very, very good. I gave out Garrett Wilson on the Jets episode that we did, but Garrett Wilson to lead the AFC East, the division in receiving yards, plus 320. I think that's a great pick. I think it's going to be incredible. The AFC East most rushing, Breece Hall, plus 280, Dalvin Cook, plus 500.
It's tough because they're going to be splitting.
They're going to be splitting for sure, but if one of them, God forbid, gets hurt, I think that's a shoo-in. Because otherwise you're going against Ramondre Stevenson, who's the odds-on favorite at plus 170 right now. I don't trust a New England running back to lead the division in rushing. Then for Buffalo, the rushing, the odds-on favorite's Josh Allen. So I like Josh Allen. I think he's going to run a lot. I don't know if he's going to run for 1,000 yards.
You know what's an interesting pick? What's the odds for Damian Harris to have the most yards? Do you see it there?
I think astronomical. I was looking at I can look it up real quick.
I
think he's a goal line guy. I don't think he's like I think Zach Moss or whatever.
No, Zach Moss is gone. It's James Cook, which is Dalvin Cook's
James
brother.
Cook. I think he's going to be the more traditional, like down the field back. And
yeah,
I think Harris is more.
What's the Damian Harris odds? Is my question. Because they have Latavius Murray there. They got, and then Nyheim Hines is out. Is it there?
Yeah, it's got to be AFC East rush.
So while you look that up, I guess the last note I'll make on this AFC is
plus 3,000.
Plus 3,000 for Damian Harris to lead the rushing
yards. Because you have the Dolphins in there. You have Mostert, Jeff Wilson, and Ache, who are all plus 1,300 to plus 2,000 apiece. Somehow you have Zeke up there at plus 3,000. I don't think that's going to happen.
Dude, I like Damian Harris. I know he might be catching balls, but yeah, whatever.
John, one last bet that I saw, and I don't know if it's new this year. It struck my eye this year. It hasn't struck my eye before. You talked about the Colts stinking, and I agree with you. And one bet that we always look at, and I'm not sure if it's up here, is the worst team in the NFL.
One of my favorite bets every year.
Worst record, right? Arizona Cardinals plus 250. The Colts are plus 1,200. Tampa Bay, Houston, and the Rams are in between them. The Cardinals plus 250. I guess we'll talk about the We'll talk
It's
about
tough
the
to
NFC.
compete with. It's tough to compete with the Cardinals there, though. It's really tough.
It is score the least amount of points plus 1,600 for the Colts. Jonathan Taylor's not there. Michael Pittman is the only true real wide receiver there.
Doesn't matter, bro. Richardson is not passing him the ball. He's going to pass to the other team or run.
Anthony Richardson, not very good just yet. Could be good. He's developing, but he's going to be out there. He's going to be starting. Offensive line a little banged up. Defense might be pretty good, but scoring the least amount of points plus 1,600 is a way to beat out the Cardinals to
What's
the
the
race
Cardinals
to the bottom.
there?
Plus 500. That's for the NFC episode.
That's
plus
actually
500.
not bad.
No, it's better than to have the worst record.
What's Denver?
It's a good question.
Your favorite team?
Don't have it in front of me. To score the most, to concede the most, to score the least amount of points. Denver. Ooh, they're down the list. Plus 1,200 actually.
Let me give you I like that. Let me give you a quick hot take, man. Oh, no, I'll just save it for the NFC tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'm excited about the NFC.
That's my last, a little free one. Score the least amount of points, Colts plus 1,600. I just think there's a shot. I think there's a shot with no Jonathan Taylor. I think there's a shot this offense isn't very good. If you look around the rest of the AFC, I think most teams are going to be able to score. Like you said, I think the Houston Texans with CJ Stroud, so they have a little bit of a better offense there.
Dameon Pierce, baby, is back. He might be comeback player of the year.
And then you have the Denver Broncos in front of you, and then that's it. So if you think the Houston Texans and then the Russell Wilson Denver Broncos are going to score a few more points than the Colts, the whole thing's in front of you. So I like the Colts here.
All right. You like the Colts to stink. Can't say anything bad about that. That wraps it up for the AFC. We'll talk about some, if you're in New Jersey and you want to take some coach of the year, defensive player of the year, comeback player of the year bets. We'll kind of mention that at the end of the next episode. But other than that, if you like and subscribe on our YouTube, Knicks Comment Jets Comment ETC period, that would help us a lot. We're almost at 500. It will just really help this channel a lot. On Twitter, we're at Winning P Weekly. We're also at Knicks Jets, etc. ETC. We're also at J Meleka. And that's pretty much it. If you like college, we had a Chip Murphy episode coming that just came out for week 1. We have the NFC episode coming out, and we're going to do week by week every single slate. We'll do the Jets episodes, every preview, and after post game for every week. And football is officially back. Let's go.
Yeah, comment. Let us know what you guys like. I mean, everyone's out there betting futures. Let us know your favorite future picks.
Let's go. Besides Aaron Rodgers MVP, of course.
Yeah, that's.
But you can't parlay. We'll talk about next episode with Greg. But you can't parlay the same team to get the awards, so it's tough. Like I know Sauce Gardner's going to get Defensive Player of the Year, right? So then I'll put him with a couple parlays. But then if I want TJ Watt, then I got to put Aaron Rodgers. It's tough. It's tough out here. Like they should be accommodating teams like the Jets that win Defensive Rookie of the Year and Offensive Rookie of the Year in the same season. Like why can't they accommodate us?
So unprecedented. No one's ever seen it before. We're out here breaking records.
Jets, Jets, baby. But New England to make the playoffs. See, I could play. I could hang.
Hey, we're not biased.